Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Salam Media. It is now 20 to 8. I'm your host for this evening, Thaakir Dawood, and I'm going to be taking you through the next 20 minutes. Well, it's been an interesting week of sport. We got kicked off with some Varsity Cup action. Back your boykies. And the boykies were backed because UCT came out victorious against the Northwest Eagles. UCT won this game 35-26. It was quite an interesting game because UCT trailed for majority of this game and came back to win this game in spectacular style, which many of us would call UCT fashion. They've done it before and they've done it again. It was almost like history repeating himself. But this time around, there was a different character that stole the show. We're going to be chatting to Rihaz Fredericks, who scored a try in the first half and he assisted one in the second half. It was actually a 7-pointer that he assisted. And that 7-pointer helped them get in touching distance of the Northwest Eagles. And the game was clinched in the 81st minute with a Kyle Bowman conversion to win the game for the UCT Ikes. Rihaz, thank you so much for joining me on Salam Media this evening.
Assalamu alaikum. Shukran for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Rihaz, I mean, an intercept and a try. You played such an intricate role in your team being victorious on the evening. What did it mean to you once the game was done?
Oh, wow, it meant honestly the world to me. When Duran picked that ball up, there was all sorts of emotions running through me, and I just honestly couldn't believe it. The moment was so surreal, to be honest with you.
You're talking of moments being surreal. What's surreal to me is the fact that UCT have managed to score after every strategy break in this tournament, well, in the opening game, that is. Is there something that the coach tells you within that strategy break that makes you guys tick?
Well, I mean, a lot goes on during those strategy breaks, but it all comes down to just the weeks of preparation before that and just the belief the boys had and the coaching staff had in our game plan, in our system, because we truly believe that the game plan we had set up for the Eagles were going to work. So it was just about remaining calm and executing our plan.
And I think that's something that you guys done so well because even when things weren't going your way, you could see that the game plan and the structure was implemented and you guys stuck to that throughout the time period, even when it wasn't working in your favor. Eventually things did turn. And I mean, once you guys started to get momentum and things started flowing, what were some of your messages towards your teammates from the wing in order just to stay calm? Because obviously, from the wing, you've got a broader perspective of the field and you can guide everybody from the outside in.
Well, I mean, as you touched on there, it's just all about staying calm, having belief in what we've prepped for throughout the weeks, many weeks before that. So I believe the training that we've done and the preparation helped us immensely in that situation because I mean, playing in Potchefstroom is no joke, that's for sure. I mean, we spoke about it during the week that all the pressure was going to be on them, playing at home, first time having fans again. So we just spoke about just staying calm and sticking to our game plan, and we knew ultimately it would help us.
You mentioned one interesting point there, and it was having fans. What was it like having fans back in the stadium, and especially for Varsity Cup?
Well, it was quite interesting because definitely wasn't our fans. So that played a massive role in terms of headspace because from the get-go, from when we were standing out there waiting for them to arrive to the pitch, and as they arrived to the pitch, that whole Fine du Toy Stadium went ballistic. So I mean, all of that just comes down to staying calm once again, just soaking in the moment and appreciating it for what it is, and taking it on board, and just being able to play the game under those circumstances.
And I mean, as a Varsity Cup player, yes, you played Craven Week before, but having a moment like that where you step out onto a pitch, it's not the same like having an entire stadium erupt and go crazy while they wait for the home team to arrive. What mentally went through your head in that time period?
Well, to be honest with you, I was only thinking one thing and one thing only, and that was hostile takeover. I mean, as you said, Fani Dutoy, it's full of Eagle supporters. The whole town was basically there, and we came there to shut the show down.
Well, you definitely did so in some spectacular fashion as well. I mean, you said the whole town was there. There's only about 2,000 people in Poch, so there was no problem with the restriction. Riaz, let's chat a bit about you. And I mean, we've watched you grow and progress from last year's tournament into this year's tournament. Um, being out on the wing, scoring that try, I've seen something that you've been doing for the past 2 years, and it's been quite a trend. You kind of kiss your wrist and you point up to the heavens. What exactly does that mean?
Honestly, that's the world to me. Um, Similar time frame to last year. This time, my beloved grandmother passed away. So before every game, I talk to her, I ask her for guidance, I ask her for protection, and I know she's always with me. So whenever I score, I just always like to dedicate that one to her.
Well, finally, many that's been wanting to ask you the question finally know exactly the reason behind it. But it's quite interesting because even at your moment of highs, when people forget about everything else and they're just celebrating the moment, you still manage to take a moment and just celebrate her. And then you intercept. I mean, dude, come on, an intercept on your own 22. Did your coach ask you if you were scared to tackle? That's why you went for the intercept, or what struck you to just go for that intercept?
Oh, definitely not scared to tackle. That's one of the main things I love about rugby, so that was no problem for me. I mean, our defensive system is set up for putting pressure on them. So
Mhm.
basically, what from the outside in, you come in, and then if you make a read, you make a read. It's either man on ball, or if the intercept is on, take it with both hands, or maybe even one.
And then the stadium, you could hear a pin drop once you made that break, and just before the 22, giving the ball off that 7 pointer. Do you think that was the momentum shift that the UCT Ikes needed in that game?
I think at that it was a very crucial point in the game. It was just after the strategy break. I think they were leading 13-0, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel it was a very crucial point in the game, and honestly, the team needed me to step up, and that's exactly what I did. As a player, I can only fulfill my role as a part of a
Mm.
team to help us get over the victory line, and I just made sure when the opportunity came, I grabbed it with both hands.
Well, you definitely grabbed it with both hands and contributed to your team winning on the day. But now, Riaz, let's look a bit at the tournament as a whole. In the dying moments of that game, there was quite a few kicks that were missed by your fly off, I mean, David Hayes has been playing spectacular rugby. He's hasn't missed a kick the entire day. What are some of the words you tell your fly off after he's missed two in a row and he's been having a flawless day? And here you guys are level on score on the verge of winning the game.
I mean, nothing much. He's our flyer for a reason, so we all back him, we all believe in him, and he does
Mhm.
the same for himself, and he does the same for us. So we don't put each other down. We know mistakes are a part of rugby. We all grow and learn from those mistakes. And I mean, yeah, we back him all the way. So
It's amazing to see that team spirit and that team culture because just looking at you guys after the game with me walking in, I was like, these guys should be celebrating, should be like tearing the roof apart, but there was just such calmness in the camp. What is the greater goal for this tournament? And what was the coach's words to you after that match that you guys weren't celebrating, yet guys were just still so focused?
well, I mean, it's as you said, it's a long tournament, so we just take it game by game. And as soon as that final whistle went, the next game was already on our minds. So we always after a game we like to reflect where we went wrong, where we can improve, where we can get better. So we just take it game by game, and the next game is on Monday, and hopefully we can continue on our great ways.
Well, it's going to be interesting one on Monday because UCT Ikes take on UJ um, at the UCT rugby fields. UJ, however, had a late change to their result where they thought they won the match, but then once the match was reviewed, it came out that they actually drew the match 44 all. How's your preparation been going for this match against UJ?
The preparation's been fantastic. The boys are fully dialed in. We know what to expect from them. We know we've prepped well in terms of our own personal preparation and as well as analyzing UJ. So we well prepared. We look forward to the challenge that's coming, and we very much look forward being back on the Green Mile.
Well, I mean, kickoff is at 5 o'clock, similar time to last week. How do you see the conditions acting up in this game? Because in Poch you had dry conditions with a thunderstorm lurking, and now you're back on home territory. Do you guys see using the wind at UCT to your advantage?
Yes, I mean, it's a very infamous wind we have it down at the Green Mile. We've trained there. We always train there, so I mean, we accustomed to the conditions. It's going to be tricky for them to come down and just play the game, the type of game that they would want to play. So they would have to acclimatize to our conditions. It's our home ground. We know the ground. We know what to expect from the conditions and the infamous wind, as you touched on. So I mean, all that is taken into consideration, and it's well endowed in our prep.
Well, I mean, the UCT Ikes fans will be coming out in their numbers as they get ready for the big one before you guys do take on Stellenbosch later on in this tournament. What is your message to your fans and your supporters? I know you've got a massive fan base at home as well. Any message that you'd like to send out to them?
Well, I mean, firstly, I would just like to shukr them for all the support and yeah, all the support they've given me throughout the years, not just now. I mean, through the graveyard shifts, they've always been there. They've always been pushing me, and I mean, through those dark times, that's what I think about my family, my friends that are family, my support base. I
Mm.
mean, they get me through those times, and I'd honestly like to just say a big shukran where I am today. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be the player that I am, and I wouldn't be the person that I am without them.
Well, wise words spoken by the young man. Riaz, we wish you all the best for your tournament coming up and also your match on Monday against UJ. I wish you all the best. Hope everything goes well for you guys. And we look forward to chatting to you as the tournament progresses and just getting to know more about what's happening in that UCT camp and also getting to know about you and your progression as a rugby player. But for now, that's all we have time for. Thanks for your time this evening. I really appreciate it and wish you all the best for the future, man.
Shukran, really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show today. It was an honor to be here, an honor to speak, and shukran so much. I look forward to catching up with you very soon.
Afon, man, it's only a pleasure. That was Rihaz Fredericks, the UCT winger who contributed immensely to their victory against the Northwest Eagles on last week on Monday. He contributed with a try of his own and an assist to guide his team to victory. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for this evening. It's been a pleasure chatting all things sport with you. If you missed any of the interviews, you can go back and find it on our social media platforms. The interview with Victor Gomes is there. We also chatted all things cricket with Suleiman Moden, and we wrapped the show up with an interview with Rihaz Fredericks, the UCT wing. Well, that's it from myself, Thaakir Dawood. Until we meet again, we look forward to chatting all things football. Any suggestions, any comments, anything you'd like to touch on, pop it in our social media. And also, you can pop me a social media message, drop it on Salam Media, and we look forward to getting your interaction and engagement with the show. But for now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.